Hey, hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. You know, when I first played Rainbow Six Siege back in December of 2015, one thought that never crossed my mind was that Rainbow Six Siege would one day, years down the line, get a zombies mode. Not only that, but that zombies mode would be absolutely fantastic. I really can't stress enough how much the Rainbow Six Siege Outbreak update, the Outbreak event, the whole new Outbreak game mode, and the addition of the two brand new operators, Finca and Lyon, they've all added up and combined to make what was already a fun and great multiplayer video game and first-person shooter experience even more fun and even more great. I am blown away. I am flabbergasted at the amount of quality, attention to detail, and effort put into this update, put into specifically the new Outbreak game mode. It's easy to see that thousands of hours worth of work and millions of dollars in production value was spent to make Outbreak possible. I'm not even sure where to begin here, there's so much to talk about. How about I start with the new music, the new soundtrack. It's phenomenal, it's haunting, it's intense. It suits the atmosphere of the main menu and the levels in Outbreak perfectly. Here, just have a listen. Do you hear that? That's effort. That's passion. And that extends to the whole Outbreak update, the Outbreak event, and the new Outbreak game mode. There's the phenomenally well-directed and well-shot cinematic CG cutscenes that act as an introduction to the story, the plot, the setting of the event, and the new game mode, while also being briefings for each of the individual missions in the Outbreak game mode. And as a fan of Rainbow Six Siege and a fan of the different operator characters in the game, it really is an absolute pleasure to see these characters, well, at least some of them, brought to life in these CGI cutscenes and having them interact and talk with one another. That personality, that individuality, that charisma. Yes, 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 I want more of this. I hope the overwhelming positive reaction to these cutscenes encourages developer Ubisoft Montreal to do more of this in the future with the operator characters. Give us more interaction, give us more banter. We know Ubisoft can write and create likable, memorable characters. And there's always been hints of that in Rainbow Six Siege, but to see it really in action in these CGI cinematic cutscenes and in the additional in-game banter between operators in the Outbreak game mode, for me, at the very least, it adds an extra bit of life and immersion and gets me to care more. Not just about the characters, but the game itself overall. I honestly believe how Ubisoft handled story and characters with Outbreak in Rainbow Six Siege is a step in the right direction, and I hope to see more of this in the future with this game. But the gushing over Outbreak doesn't stop there. If it isn't obvious enough by the footage from the new Outbreak zombie game mode, the level design, the art design, the environments are absolutely stellar. Drop dead gorgeous. The amount of vibrant colors, meticulous attention to detail, the overall spacing and pacing of levels, and of the map design, just absolutely phenomenal. The amount of work, the amount of effort and passion in these levels. It's just an absolute display of talent. I love the atmosphere of this small American town slowly being consumed and torn apart by this dreadful, oppressive alien growth. The scenery, the atmosphere can genuinely inspire dread and awe at the dark beauty. In layman's terms, the new Outbreak levels look really damn beautiful. But now we come to the most important aspect of any video game, especially when it comes to Rainbow Six Siege, because this aspect is what has been keeping it going for years, and that is the gameplay. And the gameplay in the new Outbreak game mode is drastically different to everything else available in Siege. Examples include only playing the game mode in teams of 3 players, having friendly fire disabled in the normal difficulty, which I have to say on a personal note is so weird. I've played Rainbow Six Siege for years, knowing that friendly fire was always a constant and something I had to consider, but having it disabled? Oh, it's so weird! Moving on, other examples of new gameplay elements include animated melee takedowns for stealth killing unaware enemies and stunned enemies, having health, ammo, and gadget refill packs littered throughout the map, and a lot of other little additions and changes that really mix up the standard Rainbow Six Siege formula and sandbox. While the gameplay is still overall familiar, it's still Rainbow Six Siege. It's also different enough in just enough ways that could almost be considered a brand new game, which leads me to finally talking about what are essentially the stars of the show, the newcomers to Siege, the Infected, the Roaches as they're nicknamed. These human, alien, mutant, zombie hybrids are fantastically designed. Not just in terms of art, character design, details, animation quality, all that cosmetic jazz, but also mostly in terms of gameplay. Each of the different zombie types, the grunts, the breachers, rooters, smashers, and apexes, are not only fun to kill, but provide unique and tactical dynamic gameplay challenges to overcome. These aren't your typical standard zombie type enemies. Each one of them has unique nuances and aspects that have you consider how you engage these enemies. For instance, the standard basic grunt isn't immediately aggressive towards you. They'll actually be passive and slowly patrol or sit or stand around the environment. They only become hostile once they've spotted you or being triggered by enough loud noises, gunshots, and explosions. You can actually stealthily avoid grunts or stealthily take them out with silenced headshots and stealth melee takedowns. And each one of the new different enemy types has a subtle nuance and detail like that. If you get a headshot on a breacher, they won't explode. If you time a flash or stun grenade at just the right time, you can perform a melee takedown and instantly take down a rooter. Smashers are blind, so your timing and positioning on the map, using sounds to attract or distract, the smasher can leave it open to you or teammates to shoot at its weak spot on its back. And apexes, well, apexes are just fucking assholes. I mean, goddamn, they soak up so much damage, they deal out so much damage, they constantly spawn new mobs, and they empower and buff those mobs, while also having an attack that obscures your vision. Yeah, apexes are assholes. But that's what's so great about this whole roster of enemies. They're unique, they're dynamic, and work in combination with their different occupations and abilities to try and take down your team, leaving you to prioritize targets. Now, on a few personal and side notes, if it isn't obvious already, I really enjoy the new Outbreak game mode. The new enemies are immensely fun to kill. It's really awesome and great to test out the weaponry of Siege on enemies that don't always die from a single shot. It really gave me a new appreciation for just how powerful and well designed and fun to use the weapons in Rainbow Six Siege are, especially the shotguns. I have a whole new appreciation for the shotguns in Siege. I already mentioned this earlier, but I love the banter between the operators. It always makes sense within the context of the mission they're on. It makes sense in the context of their characters. And there's just some really memorable and funny and charming dialogue.
Guys, you are all lucky I was there.
Agreed.
Come to Tachanka, baby. Oh yes, baby. Do you need anything?
It's great to see the operators, these characters in Siege, the stars of the show in the game, really get more of a spotlight than ever before. I love the operator banter. I want more of it. I need more of it. These characters are too awesome, too cool, too funny to not have them be more utilized. And speaking of operators, let me touch on the two new operators added in Rainbow Six Siege Outbreak. Finca and Lyon. I like them both. They're both solid additions. Their abilities add so many more tactics and dynamics and strategies to the Rainbow Six Siege sandbox. Finca acting as a more offensive medic, and Lyon being able to visually mark and reveal all the enemy positions in the map. Well, one, when it comes to PvE, Terrorist Hunt, and Outbreak, provides a really nice advantage and situational awareness, while in PvP can provide several unique player interactions. How a player using Lyon on the attacker team uses his drone scan ability to affect the players on the defending team, and how the defending team reacts to it, a lot of interesting player reactions, a lot of interesting effects on the outcome of a match. And finally, the new weaponry of our two new operators is of the same quality of all the weaponry, all the guns in Rainbow Six Siege. Some pros and cons, but overall, being fun to fire and fun to kill with. If it wasn't already blatantly obvious, I am absolutely glowing over the Outbreak update, the new Outbreak game mode to Rainbow Six Siege. I love it. It's great. It's incredibly well made. Which is why I now have to bring up the elephant in the room. Why, Ubisoft? Why? Limited time only? You're taking this game mode out? Why? You've obviously spent well over $1 million to produce this. The quality speaks for itself. This was well over $1 million project. With the new music, the new voice work, the new animations, the CGI cutscenes, building and designing the levels, the concept artwork. No, this was an incredibly expensive endeavor. With obvious passion, hard work, effort, blood, sweat, and tears put into making this, and you've made this a limited time only game mode that you're gonna take out? What the actual fuck? Where's the logic behind this? Where is the logic? Is this to try and push players, to incentivize players to buy the new cosmetic Outbreak packs? Where's the sense in that? How is removing a game mode going to make people spend more money on cosmetics? This doesn't compute. Why are you pulling an Activision Blizzard with what they did with Overwatch Uprising? That didn't make any sense there. And it doesn't make any sense here. It makes even less sense here because there was obviously way more money, time, and effort put into making Outbreak. So why they'd want to take this game mode out is just beyond me. It makes no sense. Outbreak adds more value, more replayability, more PvE options, more options for new players to learn how to play the game, get better at the game, use the operator abilities, and participate in teamwork with other players. Outbreak adds nothing but positives to Siege. So why they're making this limited time and taking it out? It's beyond me. It makes absolutely no logical and no business sense. I'm looking at this from a businessman point of view. This seems like a waste of money. This seems like a ludicrous waste of money. I really hope that Ubisoft sees the popularity and the positive response to the Outbreak update, and I hope they change their minds on this whole limited time-esque bullshit, and just make Outbreak a permanent part of the game, a permanent game mode. Just keep it part of the game. I see no reason to remove it. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. But alas, if we do lose the Outbreak game mode, if this really is limited time only, then at the very least, we got the addition of 2 excellent, well-rounded new operators into the game. And those are my thoughts, feelings, and opinions on the Rainbow Six Siege Outbreak update and event. The new Outbreak zombie mode is fantastic. I love it. I hope it stays in the game. But those are just my thoughts, feelings, and opinions. What are yours? Have you played Rainbow Six Siege? Have you played the new Outbreak game mode? Let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions in the comment section down below. I love reading comments. I get nearly enough comments. If you like this video in any way, shape, or form, please be sure to hit the like button. Hitting the like button helps you, helps me, helps everybody involved in the video. If you hit the like button, if you want to help out and support this video, then please share it on social media, Twitter and Facebook. If you want to help out and support me directly, well, there's always Patreon. Anyways, guys, this has been a video, and I'll see you guys later.